What's up, football fans? This is Bruno here, and I'm going to talk about the Champions League matches that we're going to see pretty soon, starting pretty soon. I want to talk about all the Champions League matches that we can expect to see today and tomorrow, and kind of talk a little bit about these matches. I will do some videos detailing what happened in the matches, and just talking about the matches after they happen, probably tonight and tomorrow night as well after watching the matches. But first, I want to talk about. I want to do a preview. Like, I like doing previews, so I'm going to talk about the matches that I'm most excited to watch today and tomorrow in the Champions League. So, if you don't know, this is match day 2. So we already had some matches in the Champions League. Most remarkably, maybe Real Madrid losing at home against Shakhtar in match day 1. That was sort of surprising. That makes me especially interested in Real Madrid's group, and those teams are going to play today. That's Group B, and they have Shakhtar in the group, Borussia Monchengladbach, Inter, and Real Madrid. So Real Madrid lost their first match, which means today it's going to be especially important for them to get points. And it's not an easy game. They have to go to Germany, which is a country that Real Madrid usually doesn't do super well in Germany, playing away, mostly due to German teams being pretty tough in Europe. Bayern Munich, Dortmund, those are difficult teams, and Real Madrid over the years has had some bad results against them, also some good results, to be honest, but also some bad results. This time, though, they play Monchengladbach, Borussia Monchengladbach, which is not such a strong team. They're not as strong as your German giants like Bayern Munich or even Dortmund. But still, Monchengladbach is a pretty good team. They drew their first game against Inter in Milan, I believe. So that was a tough game for them, and they got a result away against Inter Milan. So that shows you that they are a competitive team. This is a team that finished in the top 4 in the Bundesliga last year. They're looking likely, or at least it's very possible that they will be able to finish, given their start of the season, that they will be vying for a top 4 finish in the Bundesliga again this year. So this is a competent team, and honestly, this is a tougher game than the first game against Shakhtar. I think Borussia Mönchengladbach, number 1, is a better team, and also now Real Madrid has to travel to Germany, and they also have a little bit of baggage that first game, that defeat against Shakhtar. On the other hand, they're going to be a little bit more motivated, because if they lose against Borussia Mönchengladbach in a difficult group, such as Group B with Shakhtar, Borussia Mönchengladbach, and Inter Milan, Real Madrid will be placed in a very difficult position if they lose or potentially even tie this game against Monchengladbach. So that's one of the games that I'm personally going to watch, that I'm particularly interested in today. I want to see how they react to that defeat against Shakhtar. And remember, Real Madrid, I mean, they have a fantastic team. They have places like Vinicius, Benzema, Modric, Kroos, Sergio Ramos, and so on. So they have a great team. I mean, we're talking about one of the best teams in the world. Monchengladbach is not quite at their level, but they do play at home. They had a good result against Inter. So that's a game to watch, and I'm personally going to watch that one. But now in a little bit, in about 15 minutes from now, I'm going to watch Shakhtar versus Inter, which is the other game in the group. So between two teams that I think Inter Milan are favorites to win it, but they are traveling to Ukraine, even without the home crowd because of the coronavirus. Still a little bit of an advantage to Shakhtar because they're playing at home, especially because they're going to be more comfortable. They're not have to go through all the traveling like Inter Milan, and this is a pretty long trip, longer than most trips in Europe because they have to travel to the Ukraine. So kind of a long journey for Inter Milan to get to the Ukraine, and then with all these coronavirus restrictions, I gotta guess that that puts a little bit of extra fatigue on Inter Milan, while Shakhtar, they're going to be a little bit more rested. They don't have to do any traveling, and they got that great result against Real Madrid. Inter Milan, on the other hand, they got a disappointing result. drawing against Borussia Monchengladbach, a team that you would think is a little bit inferior to them, and at home. So Inter really hard pressed to get some points as well against Shakhtar. I would say other than Real Madrid, they were the favorites to go through to the knockout stages in the group. But I think this group just got very interesting with those results in match day one, and I think this is going to be a tough game for Inter Milan. I see Shakhtar having very good options in this game to get a result, either a tie or potentially even a win. So in a little bit, we're also going to see Lokomotiv Moscow play against Bayern Munich. That's for Group A. Bayern Munich, though, they started. They're not only the current Bundesliga champions and Champions League champions, the current German champions and European champions. They're also the best team in the world. And other than their defeat against Hoffenheim, they haven't lost in something like a year. I mean, they are on a tear. They're by far, I think, in terms of form alone, maybe not in terms of the players they have, but in terms of the form, in terms of how their team is playing, they're by far the best team in Germany. They're the best team in Europe. They're the best team in the world. So they're going to be, even if they play away, in theory. I mean, especially without a home crowd, I think Bayern Munich huge. Also, it's kind of a long trip to Russia, but still, Bayern Munich, they should have no trouble with Lokomotiv Moscow, who did got a decent result against Salzburg in the first game. They were able to get a draw against Salzburg. Salzburg this time they're going to play Atletico, and Atletico they got humiliated by Bayern Munich in Germany. They lost 4-0, and now they play. But still, they should be going through in this group with Salzburg and Lokomotiv. But they need to get the results. They need to get the results. So it's vital for Atletico, really vital to get a result against Salzburg at home. They'll certainly be wanting to win that game, and it's an important game for them to win against Salzburg at home. Now, in the other groups, we're going to have also Manchester City. They won their first game against Porto. They will play Marseille away. I'm guessing that shouldn't be an overly difficult game for them, even though it's not an easy game. And Porto, who lost against Manchester City in the first game, they will play at home against Olympiacos. That's a very important result. Before match day one, I was expecting Porto to go through to the knockout stages. They did not get a good result against Manchester City, which is kind of to be expected. Really, their journey in the Champions League really starts today because they were expected to lose that game against Manchester City. But against Olympiacos, especially after Olympiacos having won their first game against Marseille, Porto is really going to have to get a result against Olympiacos if they want to get into a good position to go through. And then the last group I want to talk about the teams that are going to play today. Liverpool, who got a result, who got a win against Ajax away in the first game, they will play today against Midtjylland at home. This should be an easy win for Liverpool. They're a much better team. Midtjylland is arguably the worst team in the competition, or one of the two worst teams in the competition. I did a feature on that, ranking the teams from 32 to 1, from the worst team to the best team in the Champions League this year, according to my predictions. I put Midtjylland in number 31, just a little bit ahead of Ferencváros. So, and Liverpool, probably in the top three. So, or I think I ranked them the second best team after Bayern. So this should be a no-brainer. Liverpool, especially against their win against Ajax, a decent start of the season in the Premier League. I mean, this is a fantastic team. They should destroy Midtjylland. I expect many goals for Liverpool. And then Atalanta-Ajax. This is probably a more interesting game because Ajax lost the first game against Liverpool. Atalanta won comfortably against Midtjylland, and Atalanta plays at home against Ajax. If they can get a win against the Dutch Giants, they will be in a very good position. And this is really the game, those games, Atalanta versus Ajax, those are the games that are going to decide who is the other team other than Liverpool, I believe, to go through the knockout stages. So very interesting game, Atalanta-Ajax. Now, talking about the games that we're going to see tomorrow, we still have to get through the games that we're going to see today, but this is a preview of the whole match day two in the Champions League. So the games we're going to see tomorrow as well, we have some big ones, and really some of the interesting matches are going to be in group it's the group of that group H. So that's a group with Leipzig, Manchester United, who both won the first game, and PSG and Istanbul. And PSG is going to play Istanbul and away in Turkey. And yes, no home crowd for Istanbul, which would ordinarily make it more difficult, but still kind of a tricky game for PSG, especially because of the fact that they really need that win. They lost the first game at home against Manchester United, and Leipzig, which is a very good team, is also in the group. This is a really tough group. PSG, they cannot lose points against Istanbul. On the other hand, Leipzig did win their first game against Istanbul. Manchester United won their first game against PSG, so they're in a much better position, you would think. But it's also a very important game for both of those teams. Manchester United, Leipzig, that should be a banger in Manchester. That should be a very interesting game between two very good teams. Manchester United, obviously a bigger club, but Leipzig with a better record in recent times in European competition, especially last year when they got to the semifinals of the Champions League. So I expect Leipzig to give Manchester United a hard time, but I think Manchester United. I think they're looking good. The last two games were very good against Newcastle, against PSG. So I think they should. Well, against Chelsea they drew. So, but they were also better than Chelsea. So I think Manchester United is playing well. They recover well from that Tottenham calamity. So I think they should be able to get the job done against Leipzig. But really, when it comes to tomorrow, really, I mean, yes, you have some other interesting games. Bruges against Lazio, Dortmund against Zenit, but really the big one is Juventus Barcelona. So I'm gonna focus on that one and talk about that one just a little bit before I wrap up this video. And that's a fantastic game. If anything else, because we might get Cristiano Ronaldo against Messi. Now, that's not confirmed yet because Cristiano Ronaldo is waiting to see the results of his latest coronavirus test. You probably already know corona. Cristiano Ronaldo tested positive for the coronavirus, I think a couple of times now. So he will not be able to play against Barcelona if obviously he tests positive again. But there is a chance he'll be able to make it in time tomorrow. They are hoping he will be able to face Barcelona, and that would be a big boost for Juventus playing at home against Barcelona. Both Juventus and Barcelona won their first matches. Barcelona had a pretty easy game against Ferencváros at home. Juventus is a tougher game in the Ukraine against Dynamo Kiev. Now, with 3 points each, and these teams are certainly the favorites to go through, especially after the results in match day one, confirming their status as favorites. I mean, but they should go through the knockout stages, both of them. But it's still a very interesting game, and still, we're in match day two, so for both teams, I'm sure they will be hoping to make it 6 points in two games. And I don't know who's going to win that one. Juventus plays at home, but with no home crowd, I'm not sure how much of an advantage that's going to be. And also, they might not have Cristiano Ronaldo. Messi is almost 100% playing for Barcelona. So, but in any case, the important thing in that game, at least for neutrals, I'm a Juventus sympathizer, so I'm really hoping Juventus will get a result against Barcelona. But for neutrals, I'm sure the big thing is Cristiano Ronaldo going to recover in time to play that game? And if so, who's going to get ahead? Who's going to finish ahead in that contest, individual contest? Cristiano Ronaldo versus Messi, which is just as interesting as Juventus Barcelona, which is also a classic of European football. So that should be a great game as well. And both Juventus and Barcelona, they haven't started the season super strong. They won their first game in the Champions League, but they have dropped points in their domestic competitions. Neither team won this past weekend, but really Barcelona is in worse shape. I would say they lost the Clasico. They finished the last season in turmoil, whereas Juventus, even though they didn't do so well in the Champions League, they did win the Italian League last year again, ninth time in a row. So Barcelona, they lost everything last season. They didn't win anything, which is unusual for them. They lost the La Liga in disappointing fashion. Their coach was throughout the season they fired two coaches. And now they're starting again with a new coach in Coleman, a new project, a new tactic. They lost a lot of big players like Luis Suarez, Vidal, Rakitic, players that had been playing, Rafinha, that had been playing for Barcelona for many years. So a lot of doubts in the no camp, in the Barcelona camp. So I think Juventus is better positioned to win that game. But we'll see. It's always a very difficult game to call, Juventus Barcelona. Anytime they play against each other, these are two huge names in European football, and obviously Cristiano Ronaldo, also two big names. Let's see what comes out of that task for Cristiano Ronaldo, and I'm really hoping he'll be able to play against Barcelona. So this is it, really. I just wanted to give you guys a context for the upcoming games in the Champions League. Thanks for watching.